Next, we want to think about why we should run experiments in operations. One reason is to test a theory or discriminate between different theories. Theoretical models provide the basis for experimental abstraction and design. They derive predictions which can then be controlled. So we can compare the theoretical predictions to the experimental observations. This helps us to understand in which situations the theory fails and in which situations the theory succeeds. Furthermore, running experiments also establishes regularities. We can, for example, see systematic deviations from some standard model prediction, and then we can use this observation to develop new models. So models that are more relevant for the certain situations. And this basically, or it's often also means that we collect evidence which then results in better model assumptions. Finally, or furthermore, experiments allow us to really compare institutions. We do not need to just only test theories, but we can directly look at the performance of institutions. So in many settings, for example, the theoretical predictions might be ambiguous. There in many game theoretical analysis, you come up with a multiplicity of equilibria, and we do not know which of the equilibria is more relevant. And so we can really test and compare the institutions when theory does not guide us. And closely connected to this is just a wind tunnel test where we can build the institution we want to look at in or represent the main features in an experiment and just test what happens and can make little adjustments and then re-experiment, design the institution to come up with better institutions. So for example, when the first spectrum auctions were introduced, they were also tested in the lab to find ways to improve it. I mean, these auctions raised a lot of money and small improvements really paid off. So if you want to run something important, you better test it before. And sometimes experiments can really help you to test and to make a reasonable test in advance. And thereby also finding ways to improve the existing or the new institution. Let me also state here that experiments are not only important for academic research. The use of experiments is not limited to academic research, but also companies can benefit greatly from well-designed experiments. Experiments allow you to directly evaluate policy measures. For example, a shop manager, or the manager of a large retail company could ask, does it pay to open stores an hour later? And to answer this question, he should or she should then run a controlled experiment where she randomly selects several stores that open an hour later and other stores that do not. And by looking at these results, can then decide on based on empirical evidence, which opening hours are best. Let me quote Jeff Bezos here, who said that our success at Amazon is a function of how many experiments we do per year, per month, per week, per day. So Amazon is running extremely many experiments, and many of the most innovative and most successful companies nowadays are constantly running experiments in all settings. So here you see experiments are important for research, but they are also extremely important for companies. So this course is not only for you if you want to do research, but also if you want to do empirical studies, experimental studies in the business world.